my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa and I, and I would like to welcome you into the fam. So guys, today's video is going to be really intriguing, fun, and personal, as we're going to be figuring out exactly what your initials reveal about you. So for anyone with a name or several names, this video is for you. So before I get into the video and explain to you exactly how you can calculate the number of your initials, I just wanted to let all of you know that the Gentle Heart Tarot, which is my very first tarot deck that I self-published, has been restocked in my online store. I will leave the link down below in the description box. And as those of you who follow me on Instagram know, this deck sold out 8 hours after launch. So needless to say, you're gonna want to grab your first edition Gentle Heart Tarot deck while they last. So I just wanted to let you guys know, because it's just been beyond overwhelming and exciting, and it's all thanks to you guys. It truly is. I wouldn't be able to do what I love every single day and to be able to self-publish my very first tarot deck if it wasn't for the unwavering support for each and every one of you who watches my videos. I just wanted to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. But now, let's get back to figuring out exactly what your initials reveal about you. So if you're not 100% sure what your initials are the first letters of your name. That's your initial. So for me, if I'm looking at Vanessa Samina, I have a V and I have an S. Those are the two first letters of the name that I go by. So if your name, for example, is Marina Apple, then your initials would be MA. So I know that a lot of you have multiple names, or you may be wondering what to do with your middle name or middle names. So when it comes to calculating what your initials mean, it is so important that you go with what feels right for you. If you do not resonate whatsoever with your middle name or middle names, then don't take them into the equation. If your name is Marina Garcia Apple, but you do not resonate with Garcia, then leave that out, okay? Then it's just Marina Apple. MA, plain and simple. And if you have a double name, know that each name has its own initial. So Mary Louise Apple would be MLA if you turn that into initials. Don't ask me how I came up with that name, but I really love it. It's kind of growing on me. So once you have figured out your initials and you're 100% sure that you only have the letters in there that resonate with you and that you feel truly connected to, we can go into turning each letter into a number. That way we can use numerology in order to calculate the meaning of your initials. So we will be using the modern system to turn each letter into a number. So you can either pause the video right here in order to start your calculations, or you can access a free PDF that I have as a downloadable on my website, where you can download this modern system as well as the Hebrew system if that is the numerological system that you prefer to use. But to make things easy and uncomplicated, I'm going to show you using the modern system how to calculate what your initials mean. So it's really easy. You probably don't even need a pen or paper for this. You write the corresponding numbers under your initials and then you add the numbers up. And if the total number that you receive has 2 figures or more, then you do the whole thing again, because you want to end up with 1 digit. So if, for example, your initials are GH, then that would be 7 plus 8. But then we have 2 digits, right? So we want to bring that down to just 1. So you would carry on with the calculation, adding those 2 numbers up, 1 plus 5, so you would receive 6. So 6 is not only the digital root of the number 15, but it is also the number which is going to help us figure out what your initials mean. And if you have a name like mine, it's fairly simple. V corresponds to the number 4, and S corresponds to the number 1. So all you do is add that up, no hassle, no stress, no calculator needed. And by the way, the number 10 does not exist when you're using this method to calculate what your initials mean. 10 has 2 digits, and as mentioned, we're trying to get things down to just 1 digit. So 10 is simply 1 plus 0, which equals 1. So 1 would be your initial number. So at this point of the video, you've hopefully been able to calculate and figure out what your initial number is. So the number found through using this method is said to reveal a lot about your personality, character, as well as your opportunities in life and where life may lead you. So we're going to go into that shortly. I have the timestamps for each number down below in the description box. So all that you need to do is scroll down, select the number that you ended up with, and then you can fast forward to the relevant part of the video. And if you're a bit of a nosy person like I am, then you're most likely not going to stop at calculating your initial number. You may want to calculate it for your partner, your husband, your crush, your best friend, your worst enemy, you name it. It's so simple, quick, and easy to calculate. So do feel free to go crazy and to watch other people's numbers as well. That may actually give you some good insight as to why they act the way that they do. But who are we to use numerology to judge? Not gonna lie, I've definitely calculated everyone's initial number who I know, but let's just keep that between you and me. So let's get right into it, shall we? I'll be starting off with the initial number 1, and I will be working my way through to number 9. So if you're a number 1, keep watching, and for all of my other fabulous numbers, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, initial number 1. So you are said to be very independent, fierce, and strong-minded. As in initial number 1, you are the type of person who is ambitious and who isn't afraid to do things on their own. So that's where your very independent streak comes from. You are an excellent leader. So this makes you great in management roles. This makes you great as, the CEO, if that is your favorite position. And overall, you are a very powerful character and a personality. You are positive, self-reliant, and often a pioneer. So it's not unusual for people with the initial number 1 to come up with great innovative ideas to start their own businesses, as well as to be entrepreneurs. Having the initial number 1 does make you a bit more masculine, or if you will, more aggressive compared to the other numbers. Now, that is a positive thing in many ways, but for some people it can be a lot to handle. But it's important for you to decide whether people are intimidated because you're challenging them or your competition, or people are intimidated because you're really putting, a little bit too much energy into a situation. That is up for you to decide. But a lot of other initial numbers do struggle with your authoritative energy. They do feel intimidated by you, which is something that initial number 1 doesn't necessarily notice themselves. But if you look around, or if you think of situations where you felt kind of confused as to why people were scared to speak their mind or seemed like they weren't quite saying what they wanted to say, do know that while you're a very friendly person and great in leadership roles, you can intimidate others. So if you're looking for a way to grow or to better yourself, try to focus on that aspect of your personality and being able to discern between when people see you as competition and when people are struggling to talk to you because of the strong presence that you are initial number 1. You also are said to have great memories and to be able to really focus on a project, especially when it matters. That makes initial number 1 very probable to go far in their professional lives. Now let's talk about initial number 2. Initial number 2, this is a number that is regarded as feminine. This is a number that is regarded as one that is balanced. You have a little bit of your masculine side present as well as your feminine, which makes for a great mixture, but overall you're definitely a little bit more on the feminine energy side. Initial number 2s usually have very soft and sweet, caring natures, and initial number 2s make for great partners as well as friends. You can sometimes be a little bit indecisive, which is hard on you, but kind of really adorable for other people to watch. You're even-tempered as well as tidy, and mostly modest. An initial number 2 is not somebody who likes to brag or be the center of attention. You're more the person who's like uplifting others, but it's important for you, initial number 2, to make sure that you're not leaving yourself in the dust, that you're not leaving your own personal needs behind just to fulfill other people's needs. Initial number 2, you definitely need to make sure that you give yourself that same loyal energy that you give others, and also that you make it a priority to just make up your mind to take care of yourself, follow through, and do it with all of the time, energy, and hard work that you put in to make sure that other people succeed, that other people feel supported, as well as to ensure that a business works as a whole without singling yourself out as the leader and the most important role. It's so essential for you to not forget about yourself, initial number 2. Now let's talk about initial number 3. Initial number 3 is very charming, very lively, very witty, and fun. You can be the life of the party when you want to be, and people really enjoy having you as a guest and having you as a friend because you bring bubbly energy to the table without being overbearing and without being too pompous, if you will. As an initial number 3, you're very imaginative, and you're the type of person who always comes up with a solution to a problem. So rather than feeling like you've hit a wall, you're the type of person who always feels like there's another way to accomplish success, to get to that point of success. This makes initial number 3 a highly talented initial number, especially when it comes to the arts. So initial number 3 is often a very artsy type of person. This is someone who can create and build something out of nothing that a lot of people admire and just wonder how you did it. So whether it be an art project or just the accomplishments in your life you were able to establish despite the odds being stacked against you, as an initial number 3, you positively surprise people all the time. As an initial number 3, you are the type of initial number that is very likely to be lucky, so make sure that you play the lottery, initial number 3. But in all seriousness, as an initial number 3, you are a very open-minded, lucky type of person that just has positive energy. The downfall of initial number 3 is usually that you spread your energy a little too thin, okay? You may be a bit all over the place, a bit indecisive, a little, how should I say? You can take on too many different projects or go down too many different directions. So you're kind of like wasting your precious and very creative energy on lots of different things rather than just focusing on one and doing that in the most amazing manner. So initial number 3, if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to find a way to function at your most optimal rate and state, make sure that you're really focusing in on a project at a time. Moving on to initial number 4, we have a very solid and even-tempered type of people who have the initial number 4. So the initial number 4 is a number that is very practical. It is one that shows that there's stability that's present, and initial number 4s often lead a life of stability where they can chill and just relax and enjoy everything that they've worked so hard for. Initial number 4 is definitely a number that speaks of hard work, which is something that you're not afraid of, or most likely not afraid of, as an initial number 4, as hard work may just be your second or middle name. You're unafraid to stay for longer at your workplace. You're unafraid to put in those extra hours if that means that something is going to be finished in an incredible way. In order to ensure completion at a really high level and high standard, you will do what it takes. But as an initial number 4, this can also sometimes mean that you're life tends to just be focused around your career, professional life, and work, and that you forget to have fun, especially with those closest to you. So if you haven't been doing anything fun with friends and family, I know the current situation does not make it easy, but there's still ways to get creative, which is something that you can sometimes struggle with unless someone says, hey, let's do a very specific thing. It can sometimes be hard for initial number 4 to let loose and have fun. So if you're an initial number 4, try to do so more often. Give yourself permission to have a good time. Hello, all of my initial number 5s. So you're really clever, you're really quick, you're really witty, and you're temperamental, you're passionate. As an initial number 5, you are the type of person who is forward thinking. You are the type of person who likes to get things done and who likes to always have a movement going on in and around their life. So as an initial number 5, you don't shy away from new opportunities, from adventure, or even from challenges. So if somebody tells you that they don't think you can do something, that can often fuel you even more. So it's either you're in a place where you just don't want to even entertain that person and you don't care about what they say whatsoever, or you're going to prove them wrong. No matter the cost, no matter what it takes, you are going to make sure that you succeed at something that people told you you never could. As an initial number 5, because you are so driven and ambitious and smart, you can sometimes use all of your strengths on people or on projects that aren't really 100% worth your time. So it's important that if somebody slights you or does you wrong, try not to channel any of your precious energy into even paying any mind to them, because you are just somebody that has such an intense amount of energy that it's best channeled only into projects and people that serve you and things that make you feel good about yourself. As an initial number 5, you have the initial number that is connected to physical intimacy. So this is something that makes you an amazing lover, that makes you someone who is very seductive as well as attractive in a sensual way. So don't be surprised if you get told by other people that you have very sensual energy. Now let's talk about initial number 6. As an initial number 6, you're all about that domestic home life. You're all about a very peaceful and tranquil type of existence. You try to avoid any type of negativity or arguments at all costs, because it is important for you that you keep your safe space clear of any unwanted type of vibration. So negative people are a thing of the past for you. You're not doing that anymore, especially an emotionally matured initial number 6. So as an initial number 6, you're very much focused on your home life, on your friends, your family, those who are closest to you. But at the same time, as an initial number 6, when everything in your life is going well, you can tend to be a little bit fuzzy, a little bit gossipy. You can tend to entertain people who you know aren't good for your soul. So that's where it's important for you to be very careful and try not to be too self-satisfied. Try to remind yourself that even when you feel like the work has been done and you've curated a great little social circle, to still be watchful of everything that's happening in that social circle, and to remind yourself that everybody within your reach is growing and is changing. Some people will grow for the better, and some people may grow into a direction that you don't resonate with, and that's completely okay. As an initial number 6, you're really amazing in arts as well as teaching. So many initial number 6s end up moving at some point of their career into a position where they can teach and mentor others. So next, let's talk about the initial number 7. The initial number 7 is a number that is kind of reclusive. A lot of initial number 7s tend to be loners. They tend to like to spend time by themselves in their own company and to reflect on their decisions that they have either already made or are about to make. As an initial number 7, you are somebody who is very intelligent, and you're most likely someone who likes philosophy. You like to think deeper and go deeper than the average person. Small talk is something that isn't really of any value to an initial number 7. That's why they often try to avoid situations in which small talk will be the main way of conversing. Hence why initial number 7s can tend to seem reclusive, but it's actually more that an initial number 7 is decisive, assertive, knows who they want to spend their time with and who they want to stay far away from. And chances are, if you're gossipy or if you're somebody who is very shallow, an initial number 7 will flake on you and will most likely not want to spend any more time. As an initial number 7, you value your life as well as your emotional state and your spiritual state more than anything. You're not a very materialistic initial number. You tend to be very dreamy and highly imaginative. So money doesn't really have that much value to you. Now, does that mean that an initial number 7 won't be successful? Not at all. But what it does mean is that they will forever be humble, no matter how successful they are or how much they are able to afford for themselves in the material or financial realm. So initial number 7s make for amazing parents as well as teachers, should they decide to invest their time in that. Now let's talk about initial number 8. Initial number 8 stands for power as well as money and worldly involvements. The initial number 8 is a highly charged number with a lot of power and a lot of presence. So as an initial number 8, if you enter a room and you feel like people stare at you, or you're just out in public and you feel like people often notice you, this may be because of your very strong authoritative energy. So this is something that a lot of people may end up finding slightly intimidating. So as an initial number 8, this works really great if you are the head of a corporation, if you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneur. A lot of initial number 8s end up being business owners, entrepreneurs, politicians, because they find that people really listen to them when they speak. People don't just half-heartedly pay attention to initial number 8s. Initial number 8s can captivate an entire audience or an entire room. So this is something that you are meant to use to your advantage. As an initial number 8, you're really good when it comes to finances, and you're able to create businesses that outlive you. So that can sometimes make for a little bit of a materialistic aspect to the initial number 8, which is why it's so important for you to find balance in friends and family, and to make sure that you're spending enough time with them and not just completely immersed in money making and the hustle, the grind. You know what I mean, initial number 8, because you have so much more to offer to the people who care about you. So make sure that you're spending enough time with them. As an initial number 8, you speak fluent sarcasm, and you're somebody who is very intelligent. You're somebody who mostly has gone really far in their education, or you've self-educated yourself a lot. So you've read a lot of books, you've kind of figured out a lot on your own without any type of guidance, which just feeds even more into your driven side and into the side of you that knows that anything is possible. So as an initial number 8, you're basically set for life. The most important thing for you is to remember your mental health and emotional well-being. Now, last but not least, let's speak about initial number 9. Initial number 9 is a very interesting initial number because it is one that has reached a peak that the other initial numbers kind of strive to come to, both emotionally as well as spiritually. 9 is above being materialistic, is above being too entangled in plain earthly things. The initial number 9 often sees things as a big picture and gets involved in helping people and charitable causes. So if you are an initial number 9, it is very probable that you will end up helping other people. So maybe you're already working, for example, in a space where you're teaching, or in the medical field where you're helping people kind of mend their wounds, lick their wounds, and then they can be sent off into the world to do their thing again. So you're always there for people when they're at their lowest as an initial number 9, which makes you susceptible to taking in that weak energy. So you have to protect yourself, all my initial number 9s, because that is often your greatest downfall. When you forget about yourself and you put everything into nurturing others, that you forget that you have needs as well, and those needs deserve to be met, and they are so valid. So initial number 9, as I said, it's highly probable that you will end up as a teacher or end up working in charitable causes, social work, so on. So even past being retired, that is not a time for you to stop. That's like when you're just getting started helping people and doing things that make a difference to this world. And as an initial number 9, that is why self-care is so important, and reminding yourself of the fact that sometimes you too need to be the center of attention. Sometimes you too need to be the center of your own universe. Give yourself permission to do so, initial number 9. You deserve it, especially with how much you give others. So we have now come to the end of this video. I really hope that you found it informative and that you enjoyed it. If you are completely new to my channel, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way you'll never miss another video relevant to your life that can teach you more about yourself and the people around you. Thank you so much for sharing this divine time with me. Know that I'm thinking of you and sending you so much love, and I'll catch you in another one of my videos.